So this is a really nice black 2003 Mustang Mach 1. The owner of this car is thrilled to own it. He has had a couple New Edge Mustangs before. One was a nice Sonic Blue Mustang GT, and unfortunately he crashed that one up in the mountains and had lost out on that car, and he still feels really bad about losing that car to this day. And so after that he got an '01 Mustang V6 that was white with red Cobra seats, and he enjoyed that car, and he was really wanting to get back into a V8 Mustang, and he saw this black Mach 1 for sale in San Diego, and he really wanted the car, but he was short about $5,000. So he talked to his dad about helping him buy the car, and his dad had said that he might be able to do that for him, and they were going back and forth, and he was working so many hours that he wasn't able to go see the car. And then his dad said, well, don't worry about it anymore because the car sold. And so he felt pretty bad about that. And then his dad said, hey, there's somebody out by your white Mustang outside, like looking at it or something. So he ran outside to see what was going on, and there was the black Mach 1 parked right behind the V6, and his dad had gone and bought the car for him. So you could see how thrilled he was to have this car, and he's always loved New Edge Mustangs, and this was just a dream come true. And so the car was parked in front of his house on the side of the street one night when all of a sudden a drunk driver came through and totally smashed into the car, pushing it into his dad's Subaru. You can see that the damage is very devastating. Such a beautiful car smashed and hit like this. So what actually happened was 3 in the morning, his sister heard a loud smash, and she ran outside and saw a black '07 two-door Honda Accord, and it had smashed into their cars, and it was driving away, and he was so drunk he ended up actually hitting the neighbor's '98 Toyota Camry, and the Mach 1 had also been pushed into the dad's Subaru. And the Honda still had enough life in it to get away, and the dad and the son jumped in the Subaru and they chased after him, and they couldn't catch him. The guy got away, so then they called the police and went home, but the guy realized that the front bumper of his Honda was still at the scene of the accident with the license plate on it. So the guy went back to the scene of the accident and tried to get the bumper. And the neighbor actually came out and confronted him and stopped him, and the guy lied to the neighbor and said that this guy in the car had hit his mom's car and he needed that license plate as evidence, and so he was trying to get that for his mom, and they got in an actual fist fight over it because the neighbor didn't believe him and he knew what was going on. And luckily the neighbor's son was able to take a picture of the license plate during the fight. So ultimately the guy got away with the license plate and went home, but the police had the number since the neighbor had taken the picture, and the police went to the guy's house and they arrested him. And it was funny because he told the police that it wasn't such a big deal and he only had 9 Bud Lights that night. So ultimately the guy was caught and he had to pay out, but his insurance only covered $5,000 for the damage. But the problem was this Mach 1 was hit so bad that it was pushed into his father's Subaru, and so now they had to have both cars repaired with that $5,000 insurance money. And just think about it, with all the cars parked on the side of the road and all the places to go and all the streets to choose from, how did the Mach 1 get hit? Like really, what are the chances that an actual Mustang Mach 1 was the car that got hit in all this? The front end was smashed in pretty good, but also if you look, the back quarter panel got some damage and the wheel was hit as well. Unfortunately, it bent the axle. So in this upcoming video, you will see how with the wheel removed and the car running, you can see the hub and the axle shaft moving and the reluctor wheel for the ABS, and you can see that the axle shaft is bent. So with 165,000 miles on the car, most people would have parted out the car and sent it to the crusher. But the owner of this car was determined to fix it, which I highly commend him for that, as do a lot of people who watch this channel, a lot of people who are very happy when we see the stories of the people who take these cars and put them back on the road. So what they did was they talked with the insurance and they were able to take the car to Montclair, California, where there was a shop that could straighten the unibody rails, and obviously with a small budget fix what they could and then leave the rest to the owner of the car and his father to work on this car and get it back on the road. And I do want to pay a lot of respect to the father for all this, because he's a muscle car guy. He loves these cars. He does paint and body work, so he was able to do a lot in the fix of this car. Now, something that kept standing out to me in all this as I was looking through these pictures was the headrests on this are the smaller ones, which makes this a non-interior upgrade package car. So out of all the '03 Mach 1s that were black with no interior upgrade package, that makes this one of only 244 cars optioned that way. And that's the only option besides the automatic transmission available on a Mustang Mach 1. So this is a 5-speed car. So out of the black '03 Mach 1s with the 5-speed, there were 1,038 of those produced. But this car is one of those, one of 1,038, but it's also one of only 244 with the interior upgrade package. So as far as options are concerned, this is a low production car. So once that was all done, they were able to cut out the front radiator core support and work on that and get a new one. And so together, his dad and himself were able to get that all put back on the car, welded in place, look good again, and get the car all straightened out in the front end. And so then they went to address the quarter panel. And so they started by heating up and pulling out the metal there, and they were able to work on that sheet metal on the quarter panel and save 90% of the quarter panel. They did a fantastic job with this quarter panel, doing the body work, the metal work, getting that all straightened out, and then getting it primered and ready for paint, and that looked really good. So then they decided to go ahead and get the car repainted, and so here you can see the car at the paint shop, and it's all primered and ready to go, looking really good, nice and straight again. Fantastic job. I'm so happy to see all this work going into it. And now look at how fantastic this 2003 Mustang Mach 1 that was wrecked looks so much better now. This is an incredible job. I think it was something that a lot of cars with less damage don't even get. So I think this was great for them to do, and it's an example to everyone of what can be done with these cars to save them if you're really interested in saving these cars. So this is a success story. This is very awesome. We've seen a lot of cars parted out that were straight body cars that were parted out only for the fact that their parts were worth so much money, and that the value of the car wasn't worth as much as they wanted to, so people have parted out nice cars like this. But here's one that's been saved and fixed, and it runs the streets now nice and strong. Sounds fantastic. Huge shout out to Angel Martinez. Great job, great looking car. Thanks for saving this Mach 1. Everyone's proud of you. Enjoy the car. And as I said before, I do want to give his dad a lot of credit for this. I mean, the dad has done a lot for him, from helping him get the car to helping him fix the car. The dad's a real muscle car enthusiast, and he did not want to see this car go to the crusher. He had mentioned how his dad felt really bad about this, and his dad had seen cars like this that had been wrecked and parted out and sent away, and he really wanted to make sure that that didn't happen to this car. And there's a lot of sentimental value here, and remember that Angel had already lost his Sonic Blue '02 Mustang GT, and that was really hard for him, and he didn't want to lose this car. This was the replacement. This is what he really wanted, even though he had the V6 after. he did want this car really bad, and so a lot of work went into getting this car, and a lot of work went into saving this car, and that's very commendable, and I love to see this car back on the road. This is an incredible story. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.